The silence before the sun's blue doorway begin in the void. We begin in the gray, hushed hour that sits between the night and the day. It is a time that belongs to neither the moon or the sun. It is the time of the blue breath. Imagine the world as it was 20,000 years ago. Strip away the roads, the wires, the hum of the engines, the glow of the cities. Strip away the clocks that slice our time into anxious seconds. What remains is a silence so deep, so heavy, and so pure that it feels like the ocean. We are standing on the edge of a vast, Pleistocene grassland. The mist is clinging to the earth, a soft, white blanket that hides the sleeping giants, the mammoths, the bison, the elk, who are nothing more than dark, breathing mounds in the distance. The air is cool. It tastes of damp earth, of crushed fern, and of ancient, resinous pine. It is the scent of a planet that has not yet been tamed. In this forgotten corner of the earth, hidden beneath the overhang of a limestone cliff, or perhaps tucked inside a shelter of woven branches and heavy skins, the tribe is sleeping. Let us step into the shelter. It is dark here, but it is a warm darkness. It is a darkness that smells of safety. There is a pile of furs, thick, shaggy pelts of wolf and bear. Beneath them, there is a heap of humanity. They sleep together, a tangle of limbs and slow heartbeats, sharing the heat of their bodies against the chill of the Ice Age night. There is no concept of my room or your space. There is only the collective warmth. There is only the single, rhythmic lung of the tribe, inhaling and exhaling in perfect unison with the wind outside. In the center of the circle, the hearth is dying. Look closely at the embers. They are buried under a layer of gray ash, fainting, pulsing with a dull, cherry-red glow. They are the sleeping eyes of the fire spirit, waiting to be fed, waiting to be woken. The atmosphere is one of profound stillness. There is no jarring alarm to shatter this peace. There is no sudden demand to rise. The awakening of the early human does not begin with noise. It begins with light. It begins with the subtle shift in the weight of the air. The black of the night softens into a deep, bruised purple. The purple fades into a steel gray. And then, the first sound arrives. It is not a shout. It is not a machine. It is the song of a single bird. Cheep, cheep. A solitary note, piercing the veil of the mist. It is the signal. The earth is turning. The shadow is retreating. The grounding of the spirit inside the shelter. Pair of eyes opens. There is no rush. There is no panic about the tasks of the day. There is no mental list of appointments. The mind of the ancestor is clear. It is a mirror that reflects only what is present. I am here. The light is coming. I am alive. We trace the first movement. A hand emerges from beneath the heavy fur. It is a strong hand, calloused and weathered, stained with the ochre of the earth and the juice of berries. It reaches out. It bypasses the tools. It bypasses the spear. It reaches for the ground. The palm presses flat against the cold, packed dirt of the floor. This is the first ritual of the day. Before the body rises, the spirit must be grounded. The hand feels the temperature of the soil. It feels the vibration of the earth. It is a silent question asked to the Great Mother. Are you still there? And the cool earth answers, I am here. I hold you. Slowly, the others begin to stir. A child shifts. An elder coughs softly. The heap of furs begins to move. Like a large animal waking from hibernation. They rise. They move with a fluidity that we have lost. They do not groan against the morning. They flow into it. One by one, they step out of the warmth of the shelter and into the chill of the blue twilight. They do not speak. Words are too sharp for this hour. Words belong to the high sun, to the hunt, to the argument. The dawn belongs to the silence. They wrap their skins tighter around their shoulders. Their breath plumes in the cold air, creating ghosts of steam that rise and vanish into the mist. They stand facing the east. This is not a casual act. This is the most important appointment of their lives. To the modern mind, the sunrise is a phenomenon of astrophysics. It is the rotation of a sphere of rock relative to a sphere of gas. It is inevitable. It is mundane. But to them, the sunrise is a question. Every night, the sun dies. It sinks into the underworld, swallowed by the darkness. And every morning, the tribe must wait to see if it will return. Will the light forgive the darkness? Will the warmth return to chase away the ice? They stand in a row, their bare feet gripping the dew-covered grass. They are watching the horizon line, that thin, sharp seam where the earth meets the sky. The suspense is quiet, but it is deep. The blue deepens into azure. A faint ribbon of pink begins to bleed into the gray. The mist on the valley floor begins to swirl, agitated by the coming heat. They are waiting for the return of the deity. The daily resurrection. It is said that the silence is loudest just before the break. The bird has stopped singing. The wind holds its breath. The mammoths in the distance have stopped grazing. The entire world is paused, suspended in a state of holy anticipation. And then, it happens. A spark, a single, blinding fragment of molten gold breaches the horizon. It is sharp, it is sudden, it is glorious. The light strikes the tops of the trees first, turning the pine needles into filigree of gold. Then it hits the mist, setting the valley on fire with a soft, diffusing radiance. And then, it hits the faces of the tribe. Watch them. Their eyes narrow against the brilliance. The golden light washes over their skin, chasing away the blue shadows of the night. It warms their cheeks. It warms their chests. It is a resurrection. The world has been born again. The cycle has held. The promise has been kept. There is no cheering. There is no applause. There is only a collective exhale. Ha! The breath of the tribe releases the tension of the night. A hand touches a shoulder. A nod is exchanged. A mother turns the face of her child toward the light, bathing the new life in the ancient warmth. For a few moments, they simply stand there, drinking the sun. They are soaking up the energy that will power their muscles for the hunt, that will ripen the berries for the gathering, that will keep the wolf at bay. They are synchronizing their internal clocks with the clock of the cosmos. This is what it means to be human in the morning of the world. It is not about doing. It is about witnessing. It is about realizing that you are not separate from the light. You are a vessel for it. The sun climbs higher, detaching itself from the horizon, becoming a perfect, burning coin in the sky. The shadows shorten. The day has officially begun. The silence begins to fracture, gently. The sound of a tool being struck. The sound of water being poured. The low murmur of a voice planning the path. But the peace of that first moment remains. It lingers in the heart, a reservoir of calm that will carry them through the hardship of the noon. And now, as we leave them standing in the golden haze, we invite you to find that same silence within yourself. You do not need a savanna to find the sunrise. You do not need a cave to find the warmth. Close your eyes. Feel the warmth of your own skin. Feel the rhythm of your own breath, rising and falling like the mist. You are grounded. You are held. The sun has risen. The world is safe. The light is watching over you. You can rest now. The day has begun for them, so that the night can be peaceful for you. Drift back into the warmth of the firs. Drift back into the safety of the shelter. Beneath the silence. Beneath the sun. Sleep. The path written in the dusty first manuscript. The sun has detached itself from the horizon. The golden fire of the dawn has settled into the steady, white clarity of the morning. The mist has retreated into the hollows of the hills, leaving the air crisp and visible. The tribe begins to move. But this is not a march. It is not a race. It is a slow, deliberate pouring of the human spirit across the landscape. We focus our gaze downward. We look away from the horizon and look toward the earth. Here, the dust. The story begins. To the modern eye, the ground is merely a surface. It is dirt. It is something to be paved over, something to be ignored as we rush from one destination to another. We walk with our heads up, lost in the clouds of our own abstraction. But to the ancient ones, the ground was not empty. It was a page. It was a manuscript written in a language of infinite complexity, a book that was being written and rewritten every second of every day. We visualize the hunter. He stands at the edge of the clearing. He is motionless. He is not scanning the distance with anxious eyes. He is looking down. He is reading. Before humans created alphabets of ink and paper, they mastered the alphabet of the earth. The curve of a pebble, the shadow of a bent blade of grass, the tiny crater left by a falling drop of dew. These are the letters. The hunter stands there, letting the silence of the plains wash over him. He is waiting for the text to reveal itself. He sees a disturbance in the fine, red sand. To you or me, it is nothing, a shift in the texture, a blur in the grain. But to him, it is a shout. It is the imprint of a hoof. It is deep at the toe, shallow at the heel. The sand around the rim is still crumbling, falling inward in slow motion. He crouches. He extends a hand, hovering his fingers just above the impression, sensing the heat that might still linger there. He reads the story. A large male, heavy, moving slowly, eating as he goes. This is the first literacy. Long before we wrote poetry, we wrote survival. Long before we read philosophy, we read the wind. The hunter rises. He does not speak. He turns his head slightly, signaling to the others. The path has opened. The story has begun. The invisible silver cord, the walk begins. It is a movement of profound grace. When we imagine early humans, we often imagine them running, shouting, chasing with spears raised in adrenaline-fueled chaos. But the truth is quieter. The truth is slower. The true hunt is a meditation. We follow them as they slip into the brush. They move without sound. Their bare feet are sensitive instruments. They can feel the twig before it snaps. They can feel the dry leaf before it crunches. They roll their weight from the outside of the heel to the ball of the foot, absorbing the impact, becoming part of the silence. They are entering the flow state. In this state, the mind is emptied. The internal chatter, the worry about the future, the regret about the past evaporates. There is no room for it. There is only the now. The hunter is not searching for the animal. He is connected to it. Imagine an invisible silver cord, stretching out from the hunter's chest, winding through the trees, crossing the river, and connecting to the heart of the prey miles away. The animal moves, and the hunter feels the tug. The animal stops, and the hunter pauses. They are two ends of the same thought. This is not a relationship of violence. It is a relationship of intimacy. It is a spiritual contract. The predator and the prey are partners in the great dance of energy. The hunter does not hate the deer. He reveres it. He knows that the deer is carrying the life force that will sustain his children. He knows that the deer is a gift wrapped in fur and muscle. He follows the trace. Here, a tuft of hair caught on a thorn. There, patch of flattened fern where the animal lay down to rest. He is walking in the animal's ghost. He is stepping into the animal's time. The forest opens up around him. To the uninitiated, the woods are a wall of green confusion. But to the reader of the dust, the woods are a hallway of doors. He knows which door leads to water. He knows which door leads to the wind. He stops. He closes his eyes. He does not look. He listens. He listens not just with his ears, but with his skin. He feels the shift in the breeze. Is it cool? Does it carry the scent of musk? Does it carry the scent of fear? He opens his mouth slightly, tasting the air, letting the molecules of the forest drift over his tongue. He is fully alive. Every nerve ending is singing. Every sense is dialed to its highest frequency. He is not an intruder in the wild. He is the wild. The rhythm of the long walk. The sun climbs higher. The shadows shorten. The walk continues. Step, step, step. There is a hypnotic quality to this movement. It is the oldest rhythm in human history. It is the cadence that shaped our bodies, lengthened our legs, and expanded our lungs. We were built to walk. We were not built for the sprint of the cheetah. We were built for the endurance of the wolf. We were built to walk the sun across the sky. As the hunter walks, the rhythm settles into his bones. Thud, thud, thud. It is a percussion that calms the nervous system. The repetitive motion acts as a lullaby for the conscious mind, allowing the subconscious to expand. In this rhythm, the mind wanders into dreamlike states, even while awake. Perhaps he sees visions in the patterns of the leaves. Perhaps he hears the voices of the ancestors in the creaking of the trees. The long walk induces a trance, a separation from the self, a merging with the landscape. He does not feel fatigue. He feels buoyancy. He is carried by the momentum of the earth itself. Hours pass. The landscape changes. The scrubland gives way to the deep woods. The light turns green and dappled, filtering through the canopy like light through water. And then, the sign appears. The hunter stops. The rhythm ceases. The silence rushes back in, heavy and absolute. He looks down. There, on the bank of a small stream, in the dark, rich mud, is the mark. It is a perfect hoofprint, and it is filling with water. Watch closely. The water seeps in from the surrounding mud, clear and cold. It fills the depression slowly, swirling with tiny grains of silt. It is fresh. The water has not yet settled. The mud has not yet dried. The animal was here only a heartbeat ago. The invisible cord pulls tight. The presence is immediate. The ghost has become flesh. The hunter looks up. He looks into the dense shadows of the trees ahead. He does not see the animal yet, but he feels it. He feels the weight of its gaze. He feels the heat of its breath in the cool air. The forest is no longer empty. It is charged. It is watching. He does not move. He stays in the stillness, honoring the moment of connection. He has read the book of the earth, and the book has led him to the truth. He takes a breath. He lowers his head in a silent nod of gratitude to the guide beneath his feet. The path is written in the dust. The path is written in the mud. The path is written in the blood, and we are always following it. We leave him there, standing on the edge of the stream, suspended in the wonder of the find. The water fills the track. The surface becomes a mirror, reflecting the leaves, reflecting the sky, reflecting the face of the one who knows how to listen. The earth has spoken. The journey continues. Sleep now. The path is clear. You are guided. The wisdom of the green veins, the cathedral of shadows, the sun is high now. The heat on the open plains is heavy and relentless, a weight that presses down on the shoulders of the hunter. But we are leaving the plains behind. We step away from the blinding gold of the grasslands. We cross the boundary of the tree line. We enter the shade. Here, the world changes temperature. The air drops instantly, cooling against the skin like a splash of spring water. The light changes from a harsh, single source to a million scattered diamonds, filtering through the canopy above. We are entering the cathedral of shadows. It is a world of dappled light and deep, breathing silence. It is a world where the vertical lines of the trees mimic the pillars of a great hall, holding up a ceiling of rustling leaves. We are here to witness the work of the gatherers. History often sings the song of the spear, the drama of the chase, the glory of the kill. But there is another song, older and quieter. It is the song of the basket. It is the song of the hand that reaches out not to take a life, but to find the sustenance that sustains it. Walk with them now. They move slowly. The hunter scans the horizon, looking for movement, but the gatherer scans the ground, looking for patterns. They are the keepers of the earth's secret pharmacopoeia. They know that the forest is not a wall of green confusion. It is a library. Every leaf is a page. Every root is a chapter. Every berry is a word in a sentence that speaks of life and death. Look at the ground through their eyes. It is a tapestry of infinite complexity. Ferns unfurling their spirals in the damp shade. Moss clinging to the north side of the ancient oaks, soft as velvet. Vines climbing toward the light, twisting in the slow motion of centuries. The gatherer stops. She kneels. She brushes aside a layer of dead, brown leaves, the detritus of the past seasons. Beneath the decay, hidden in the dark, rich loam, is a flash of green, a cluster of leaves, shaped like the heart of a bird. To you, it is a weed. To her, it is a promise. She knows this plant. She knows its name. Not a Latin name written in a book, but a true name, a sound that mimics the rustle of its leaves in the wind. She knows that the root of this plant, when crushed and boiled, will break a fever. She knows that the sap, when rubbed on a wound, will stop the bleeding. How does she know? This is the deepening mystery of the green veins. The whisper of the lineage. We explore the lineage of wisdom. There were no encyclopedias in the Pleistocene. There were no botanical gardens with labeled plaques. This knowledge was passed down through a chain of whispers. Visualize the scene. A mother, her hand stained purple with the juice of the elderberry, holds a leaf up to the light. Her daughter stands beside her, watching, absorbing. See this vein? The mother whispers. See how it branches like a river. This is good. This is safe. But see this one? She points to a plant that looks almost identical, but whose stem is covered in tiny, fine hairs. This is the sleeper. This will stop your heart. The knowledge of what heals and what harms is a treasure map that has been refined over thousands of generations. It is a map drawn in trial and error, in taste and reaction. But whispers tell us it was more than just trial and error. Some believe that the plants themselves spoke to the ancestors. In the deep quiet of the forest, when the mind is still, the green nations have a voice. It is not a voice of words, but a voice of chemistry, a voice of vibration. Perhaps the gatherer, drifting into a light trance among the herbs, felt the pull of the medicine. Perhaps the spirit of the willow whispered to the woman with the headache. Perhaps the spirit of the poppy whispered to the man with the broken leg. It is a dialogue. This is not mindless picking. This is a conversation. Watch the hands. The hands of the gatherer are the most sensitive tools in the forest. They are stained with the blood of the earth, the green chlorophyll, the red juice, the brown soil. The fingernails are dark with loam. They dig into the soft earth, feeling for the tuber hidden below. Scratch, scratch. They pull the root from the darkness. It is bulbous, ugly, covered in dirt, but the gatherer smiles. She knows the sweetness locked inside. She wipes it on the grass. She places it in the basket. She leaves a gift in return. A strand of hair, a poured drop of water, a word of thanks. Thank you for your life. I will take it into mine. This is the sacred contract. You do not take without asking. You do not harvest without gratitude. We move deeper into the woods. The air grows heavier, scented with the perfume of crushed mint and damp decay. We enter the soft focus. This is the meditative state of the gatherer. When you look for something too hard, you cannot see it. Your eyes become tight. You miss the periphery. But the gatherer softens her eyes. She lets her vision blur slightly, taking in the whole wash of the forest floor at once. She is looking for breaks in the pattern, the gleam of a red berry in the shadow, the texture of a mushroom pushing up through the pine needles. She is drifting in a sea of green, letting the currents of the forest guide her hand. It is a state of flow as deep as the hunter's, but it is a flow of peace, not adrenaline. It is the flow of the weaver. The basket of trust the day wears on. The light in the cathedral changes, shifting from the cool white of morning to the warm, golden haze of afternoon. The basket is getting heavy. Let us look at this object. The basket. It is one of the first inventions of the human mind. Before the wheel, before the plow, before the sword, there was the container. It is made of woven grass, or strips of willow bark, or twisted roots. It is a nest that the human builds to carry the bounty of the world. It is the symbol of the gatherer's soul. It is open. It is receptive. It waits to be filled. Inside, there is a chaotic, beautiful harvest. There are dark blue berries that taste of rain. There are nuts encased in hard green shells, sleeping until the stone cracks them. There are leaves that taste of lemon. There are roots that taste of earth. It is a tangible symbol of the trust between the human and the soil. The earth has provided. The human has accepted. As we stand in the dappled light, watching the gatherer hoist the basket onto her hip, we feel a sense of profound safety. We are not alone on this planet. We are not orphans stranded on a rock. We are children of a generous mother. She grows the medicine before we have the sickness. She grows the food before we have the hunger. She is waiting for us to notice. The gatherer turns back toward the camp. The path home is written in the crushed grass behind her. The forest closes its green curtains behind her passage. The silence returns to the grove. But it is a different silence now. It is a silence that has been acknowledged. The veins of the leaf and the veins of the hand are the same. The water in the stem and the blood in the body are the same. We are woven into this world just as the grass is woven into the basket. We invite you now to feel that connection. Imagine the smell of the pine. Imagine the cool, damp earth beneath your feet. Imagine the weight of the basket, full of good things, resting against your side. You do not need to hunt. You do not need to fight. You only need to gather. Gather the quiet of the night. Gather the softness of the dark. Gather the peace that is growing all around you, hidden in the shadows, waiting for you to find it. The forest is watching over you. The medicine is strong. The basket is full. Drift away now, into the deep, green shade of sleep. The earth is holding you. Sleep. The rhythm of the gray stone-neath heartbeat of the noon sun has climbed to the very roof of the sky. The golden hour of the dawn has burned away, replaced by the white, vertical heat of midday. The shadows have retreated, hiding beneath the rocks and the trees. The birds have ceased their singing, seeking refuge from the glare. The wind has settled into a breathless stillness. The camp is quiet, but it is not silent. If you listen closely, beneath the low hum of the insects and the soft breathing of the tribe, there is a sound. It is crisp, it is rhythmic, it is sharp. It is the sound of stone striking stone. It is the heartbeat of the noon. It is the ticking of the Paleolithic clock, measuring time not in seconds, but in shards of falling glass. We move toward the sound. We find the maker sitting in the deep shade of an overhang, or perhaps beneath the spreading branches of an ancient oak. He sits cross-legged on the earth. A deer skin is draped over his knees to protect his flesh from the razor's edge. In his left hand, he holds the core. It is a heavy, gray nodule of flint, or perhaps a smooth, black lump of obsidian. It is cool to the touch, dense with the weight of geological time. It was pulled from the chalk cliffs or the riverbed, a sleeping stone that has not seen the light for 1,000,000 years. In his right hand, he holds the hammerstone, a round, hard river rock, scarred by 1,000 impacts. He is the sculptor of the edge. He is not merely making a tool. He is engaging in a dialogue with the earth. Watch the movement. He raises the hammerstone. He pauses. He calculates the angle, the force, the velocity. A flake of gray stone flies off, spinning in the air, catching the light before it falls to the pile of debris at his feet. It is a moment of controlled violence that results in perfect creation. The maker breathes in. He rotates the core. Another flake falls. This is the rhythm of the gray stone. It is a slow, percussive song that has been played by human hands for 2.5 million years. It is the sound that sharpened our minds as surely as it sharpened the rock. The line of fracture. We enter the mind of the napper. To the uninitiated, the stone looks solid. It looks impenetrable. But to the maker, the stone is fluid. He knows that inside the rock, there are currents. There are waves. There are secret weaknesses waiting to be exploited. He is looking for the line of fracture. He visualizes the shockwave before he delivers it. He sees the path the energy will take through the dense lattice of the silica. If he strikes too hard, the stone will shatter into useless dust. If he strikes too soft, the stone will bruise and refuse to yield. He must find the perfect balance. It is an act of intense, singular focus. The world outside, the shade falls away. The heat, the hunger, the distant herds, they all vanish. There is only the core. There is only the striking platform. There is only the edge. The repetition becomes a mantra. The rhythm settles the heart rate. The hands take over, guided by a wisdom that bypasses the conscious thought. This is the memory of the hands. It is a knowledge stored in the muscles of the forearm, in the calluses of the palm, in the delicate sensors of the fingertips. The body remembers the angle of the strike from yesterday, and from the year before, and from the ancestors before that. It is a flow state of pure presence. We watch as the stone begins to change shape. It sheds its outer skin, the rough, chalky cortex. It reveals the dark, glossy interior. It is not being built up, like a pot of clay. It is being reduced. This is the art of subtraction. The spear point, the scraper, the knife, they were already there, trapped inside the rock, waiting for millions of years for a human hand to liberate them. The maker is merely peeling away the excess, revealing the shape that was always hiding in the center. Sometimes, the stone refuses. Crack, a mistake, a hidden flaw in the crystal structure causes the piece to snap in half. Watch the reaction. There is no anger. There is no cursing. The maker simply sighs, exhaling the frustration. He tosses the broken piece onto the waste pile. He picks up a new stone. He begins again. This is the patience of the earth. The understanding that creation and destruction are twin brothers. The willingness to start over, again and again, until the form is true. The spark in the shadowed pile of flakes at his feet grows larger. It is a carpet of glass, a mosaic of razor-sharp debris. The tool is nearing completion. The maker puts down the heavy hammerstone. He picks up a smaller tool, an antler tine, or a piece of bone. Now, the work becomes delicate. He is no longer striking. He is pressing. He places the tip of the antler against the edge of the stone. He leans his weight into it. Snap! A tiny, pressure flake pops off. He travels down the edge, serrating it, sharpening it, refining it. He is turning the jagged rock into a piece of geometric perfection. He holds it up to the light. A ray of the midday sun pierces the canopy of the leaves. It hits the finished object. It glows. If it is obsidian, it shines with a translucent, smoky black light. If it is flint, it glows with a waxy, honey-colored sheen. It is a leaf of stone. It is translucent at the edges, sharp enough to cut the wind. It is a masterpiece of symmetry. The maker turns it over in his hand. He feels the ridges, the ripples left by the shockwaves of his strikes. They look like the ripples in a pond, frozen in rock. He runs his thumb carefully along the spine. He tests the balance. It is ready. It is no longer just a rock. It has been imbued with intention. It has been charged with the energy of the human mind. It is a piece of the earth that has been taught how to hunt. The rhythm stops. The silence rushes back in to fill the space. But it is a different silence now. It is the silence of accomplishment. The silence of a task finished. The maker places the tool in his pouch. He stretches his stiff legs. He brushes the dust from his hands. He looks out from the shade. The sun has begun to dip. The shadows are lengthening again. The world starts to wake up from its midday slumber. But for now, in the quiet of the workshop, there is peace. We invite you to find that rhythm in your own breath. Visualize the stone in your mind. Visualize the unnecessary thoughts, the worries, the jagged edges of the day. Strike them away. Click. Let the worry fall. Click. Let the tension fall. Click. Let the noise fall. Peel away the layers until you find the calm center. Reveal the shape of the silence that is hiding inside you. You are the maker. You are the stone. The work is done. The edge is smooth. The tool rests. Sleep now. In the rhythm of the stone. In the shade of the earth. Sleep. The language of the touch amber horth rhythm of the stone has ceased. The sharp of the maker's hand has faded into the heavy stillness of the afternoon. The sun has lost its white, midday fury. It has mellowed into a deep, rich amber, pouring over the landscape like warm honey. It coats the leaves of the trees, the hide of the tents, and the skin of the people in a thick, golden lacquer. The heat is no longer a challenge. It is a blanket. The work of the day is done. The hunt is over. The gathering baskets are full. The tools are sharp. Now, the tribe seeks the shade. They move instinctively toward the center of the camp, drawn together not by a command, but by a biological gravity. They settle beneath the great overhanging branches of the ancestor trees, or in the cool, blue shadow of the limestone cliff. This is the hour of the weaver, but they are not weaving grass into baskets. They are not weaving sinew into nets. They are weaving the bond. We visualize the scene. It is a tableau of profound peace. 20 or 30 souls, sitting in a loose circle, resting on the soft earth. The distance between them has collapsed. In our modern world, we guard our personal space. We build invisible walls around our bodies, bubbles of isolation that we carry with us everywhere we go. But here, in the afternoon of the world, there are no bubbles. There is no personal space. There is only the shared space. They sit close. The knee of one rests against the thigh of another. The back of a child rests against the chest of a father. A head rests upon a shoulder. They are not necessarily talking. Words are for information, for planning, for warning. This moment is not about information. It is about connection. It is about the language of the touch. We focus on the hands. The same hands that gripped the spear. The same hands that dug the root. The same hands that struck the flint. They have changed now. They have softened. They move with a gentle, repetitive rhythm through the hair of a kinsperson. Watch the fingers. They comb through the thick, tangled strands. They find the small burrs caught in the hunt, the sticky seeds of the cleaver grass, the tiny thorns of the brush. With infinite patience, they tease them out. They smooth the hair. They massage the scalp. It is a hypnotic motion. Stroke. Smooth. Repeat. It is a form of grooming, yes, but it is more than hygiene. It is a ritual of belonging. It is the physical act of saying, I see you. I care for you. You are part of me. The collective nervous system. We explore the depth of this silence. It is said that the skin is the boundary of the self. But in this circle, the boundary dissolves. The skin becomes a bridge. As the fingers work their magic, a chemical warmth begins to flood the bodies of both the giver and the receiver. It is a golden fluid of safety. It slows the heart rate. It deepens the breath. It tells the vigilant, prehistoric brain, the part that is always listening for the snap of a twig or the growl of a predator, that it can stand down. You are safe, the hands say. You are held, the shoulders say. You are home, the silence says. Long before the tongue learned to shape the complex sounds of love or loyalty, the hand knew how to give it. This is the collective nervous system of the tribe. They are not 20 separate individuals struggling alone against the vast, dangerous world. They are a single organism. Watch the transmission of calm. An elder sits with her eyes closed, her face turned toward the warm breeze. Her breathing is slow, deep, and oceanic. Beside her sits a child, restless, full of the twitching energy of youth, perhaps anxious about the coming dark. The elder reaches out. She places a heavy, warm hand on the child's back. She does not speak. She does not scold. She simply transmits her stillness. The weight of her hand is an anchor. You can see the change happen. The child's shoulders drop. The fidgeting stops. The child's breathing synchronizes with the elder's. In and out. In and out. The calm flows like water from the one who has it to the one who needs it. This is the ancient medicine. This is the wisdom of the pack. We reflect on the weaving of the knot. Every time they touch every braid that is tied, every burr that is picked, every embrace that is shared, they are tying a knot in the invisible web that holds them together. These knots are stronger than the sinew strings of their boughs. They are stronger than the roots of the trees. They are the reason the human species survived. We did not survive because we were the strongest. The bear was stronger. We did not survive because we were the fastest. The cat was faster. We survived because we held each other. We survived because when one of us fell, there were hands to catch them. We survived because we knew how to rest in the sanctuary of the skin. The afternoon drift deepens. The shadows stretch out, long and thin, reaching across the valley floor. The sounds of the camp are soft and blurring. There is the low, humming vibration of a mother soothing an infant. There is the soft laughter of two hunters sharing a joke, a sound that rumbles in their chests. There is the rustle of the wind in the dry grass, blending perfectly with the sighs of the resting tribe. It is a symphony of contentment. The circle that will not break us. We listen to this scene. We feel a longing. It is a longing for a kind of closeness that has faded from our modern lives. We live in the age of the wall. We live in the age of the screen. We touch keys. We touch glass. We touch plastic. But how often do we touch the hair of a friend? How often do we sit in silence, shoulder to shoulder, with nothing to do but be near? The tribe offers us a memory of what we have lost, but it also offers us a way back. You can close your eyes and enter the circle. Imagine you are there. The ground beneath you is warm and solid. The air smells of dry sage and wood smoke. You feel the presence of the kin around you, a solid wall of backs and shoulders, protecting you from the open plain. You are not alone. You have never been alone. Feel the phantom weight of a hand resting on your shoulder. It is the hand of the ancestor. It is heavy, warm, and reassuring. It tells you that you are part of a line that remains unbroken. You are the result of a million afternoons like this one, a million moments of care, a million acts of tenderness. The oxytocin release is not just for them. It is for you. Let your own nervous system sync with theirs. Let your heart rate slow down to the rhythm of the tribe. Thump, 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 thump. It is the heartbeat of the circle. The sun dips lower, painting the clouds in shades of violet and bruised rose. The golden amber light fades into a soft, powdery dusk. The braiding is finished. The hair is smooth. The burrs are gone. The tribe remains sitting there, reluctant to break the spell. They are suspended in the twilight, half awake and half asleep, floating in the warm bath of connection. They are a fortress of flesh and spirit, and you are safe inside it. You are held by the history of your own blood. You are held by the hands of the past. The circle will not break. The bond will not fray. The language of the touch has spoken, and its message is peace. Rest now. Lean your head back. Feel the support. You are with your kin. Sleep. The shadow of the cloud, the high ridge, we leave the comfort of the circle. We leave the warmth of the amber hour and the tactile safety of the grooming session. We follow a narrow game trail that winds up the side of the limestone escarpment, rising above the camp, rising above the trees, rising until the air grows thin and cool. We reach the high ridge. This is the place of the watcher. Throughout the history of our species, there has always been one who sits apart, one who climbs to the highest point not to conquer it, but to submit to the view. Visualize him now, a solitary figure, perched on a ledge of weathered gray stone. His knees are drawn up to his chest. His spear rests idly by his side, unused. His skin is painted with the dust of the climb. He is looking out. Below him lies the world. It is a vast prehistoric valley, stretching out to a horizon so distant it curves with the shape of the earth. It is a sea of swaying grass, punctuated by islands of dark forest and the winding silver ribbon of a river. From this height, the camp below is just a speck. The fires are invisible. The voices are silent. There is only the wind. It rushes up the face of the cliff, carrying the scent of rain from 100 miles away. It pulls at the watcher's hair. It dries the sweat on his brow. To the modern mind, a man sitting on a rock doing nothing is a man wasting time. We are obsessed with production. We are obsessed with the result. But the Ancient One knows a secret that we have forgotten. He knows that witnessing is a form of work. He is not idle. He is performing the sacred duty of observation. He is expanding his consciousness to match the size of the landscape. He is letting the small, anxious chatter of the self dissolve into the vast, indifferent grandeur of the plain. He is waiting, but he is not waiting for anything in particular. He is not waiting for a bus, or a message, or an event. He is waiting for the world to reveal itself. He is entering the deep observation, the theater of the sky. Lift your eyes. Look up. Above the valley, the sky is a busy, breathing thing. Great battalions of cumulus clouds are marching across the blue vault. They are towering cathedrals of white vapor, their tops bright as snow, their bellies dark with moisture. They are the true giants of the Pleistocene. The watcher observes their passage, but he does not look at the clouds themselves. He looks at their shadows. Look down at the valley floor. See the dark shapes racing across the gold grass. They are like ghosts. They are like the footprints of gods. They move silently, effortlessly, swallowing the light and then releasing it again. A patch of forest is plunged into cool darkness. Then moments later, it bursts back into emerald brilliance. It is a cinema of light and dark. The watcher sits there for hours, mesmerized by this play. He learns the speed of the wind by the speed of the shadow. He learns the direction of the weather by the drift of the vapor. He sees the patterns. In the far distance, a herd of bison moves like a slow, dark river of ink. They are miles away, too far to hunt, too far to hear. But the watcher sees them. He acknowledges them. He marks their passage in the library of his mind. They are there. The life is flowing. He sees the hawk hanging suspended in the updraft, a motionless cross against the clouds. He sees the distant storm gathering on the western horizon, a curtain of gray rainverga that hangs from the cloud but never touches the ground, evaporating in the dry air before it can bless the earth. He smells the ozone. He feels the drop in pressure in the hollow of his ears. This is the expansion of consciousness. When you stare at the horizon for a lifetime, your mind takes the shape of the horizon. It becomes wide. It becomes open. The mind of the early human was not cluttered with abstract worries. It was not filled with the static of what if and should have. It was a mirror. It simply reflected what was there. If the sky was stormy, the mind was stormy. If the valley was peaceful, the mind was peaceful. There was no separation between the observer and the observed. We touch upon the concept of waiting as a discipline. In our world, waiting is a nuisance. It is the gap between what we have and what we want. We fidget. We check our devices. We tap our feet. But for the watcher, waiting is a prayer. The hunter waits for the prey to step into the clearing. He waits for hours, immobile as a stump, his breath shallow, his heart slow. The gatherer waits for the fruit to turn from green to red. She does not rush the vine. She respects the time of the plant. The tribe waits for the rain. They understood that the world moves at its own tempo, a tempo much slower than the beat of a human heart. To live in harmony with the world, one must slow down the heart. One must learn to sit on the ridge and let the shadows pass. One must learn that the passing of time is not a loss. It is a sensation. It is a feeling to be savored, like the sun on the skin. The peace of smallness as the afternoon wears on, the light begins to change. The shadows of the clouds lengthen, stretching out like fingers trying to touch the eastern hills. The watcher feels a profound sense of smallness. He looks at the giant clouds. He looks at the endless plain. He looks at the storm that could crush him in an instant. He is tiny. He is a speck of dust on the edge of a cliff. But this feeling does not bring fear. It brings peace. There is a great relief in being small. If you are small, you are not responsible for the turning of the world. You do not have to hold up the sky. You are free. You are free to simply be a witness. You are free to watch the masterpiece unfold without needing to direct it. The sun begins its descent. The bright white of the noon gives way to the golden hour. The grass glows with an inner fire. The river turns into a vein of molten copper. And the clouds are painted. The bottoms of the cumulus towers turn a deep, bruised violet. The tops turn a brilliant, burning rose. The sky behind them fades from azure to a soft, powdery teal. It is a daily miracle. Every evening, the sky puts on a show of impossible beauty. And every evening, the watcher is there to see it. He does not take a picture. He does not try to capture it or sell it. He simply lets it enter him. He drinks the colors. He breathes the violet air. He knows the names of the winds. He knows the mood of the storm. He knows the language of the light. He is the consciousness of the valley. Without him, the sunset would still happen, but it would not be seen. He is the eye of the world, looking at itself. The sun dips below the horizon. The light fails. The violet fades to gray. The show is over. The watcher stands up. His legs are stiff, but his mind is washed clean. He picks up his spear. He turns his back on the vastness. He begins the descent back to the camp, back to the fire, back to the tribe. He carries the silence of the ridge with him. He carries the shadow of the cloud in his heart. And now, we invite you to stand on that ridge. Let your mind expand. Push the walls of your room away. Push the ceiling away. Give yourself a horizon. Watch the clouds of your own thoughts drift by. Do not chase them. Do not judge them. Just watch the shadows they cast. You are the witness. You are the watcher. You are small, and you are safe. The storm is far away. The wind is cool. The sun has set. The peace of the vast world is yours. Sleep now, beneath the sky, beneath the silence. Sleep. The circle of the golden embirth, taming of the ninth violet hour has descended. The vast, panoramic view of the high ridge has vanished. The horizon, which stretched out so far during the day, has been swallowed by the encroaching tide of the dusk. The world is shrinking. It is no longer a world of miles. It is a world of feet. The tribe has returned to the center. The hunters have laid down their spears. The gatherers have set down their baskets. The wanderers have come home. Now, the focus shifts to the single most important point in the human universe, the hearth. We watch the ritual of the gathering. It is a solemn duty. The younger members of the tribe move through the darkening periphery of the camp, searching the ground. They are looking for the bones of the trees. They gather the dry, gray branches of the fallen oak. They gather the twisted limbs of the pine rich with resin. They gather the withered cones and the dry moss. They carry these offerings in their arms like precious things, for in the coming darkness, this wood is not merely fuel, it is life. They pile it in the center of the clearing. It is a chaotic pyramid of potential energy, waiting for the touch of the wizard. A figure kneels by the pile. The air is silent now, save for the wind in the treetops. The birds have gone to sleep. The crickets have not yet begun their chorus. The fire maker holds the stones, a piece of dark flint in one hand, a nodule of iron pyrite in the other. He leans close to the nest of dry tinder, the fluff of the cattail, the shavings of birch bark. A spark, a tiny, fleeting star is born from the collision of the stones. It flies through the air, a microscopic comet, and lands in the nest. For a moment, nothing happens. The spark seems to die, but the maker knows the secret. He leans in. He offers his own breath to the stone. Woo! He blows gently, steadily. He feeds the spark with the spirit of the air. And then, a miracle. A thin, gray ribbon of smoke rises, twisting like a snake. The smell of burning wood hits the air, acrid, sharp, and ancient. The smoke thickens. The red glow spreads through the tinder. And then, with a sudden, soft whoosh, the spirit awakes. The red flower blooms. A tongue of yellow flame licks upward, catching the birch bark, climbing the twigs, consuming the branches. The darkness is pushed back. The shadows leap away to the edges of the clearing. The camp is transformed. A moment ago, it was a cold, gray place. Now, it is a temple of gold. The sun has vanished from the sky, but the tribe has created their own sun on the earth. The sacred berry ere the fire grows. It settles into a steady, rhythmic roar. Crackle, pop, hiss. The tribe gathers around it. They sit in a tight circle, their faces turned toward the light, their backs to the dark. This is the creation of the sacred barrier. In the Paleolithic world, there were no walls of stone. There were no doors to lock. There were no fences to keep out the saber-tooth or the wolf. There was only the fire. It is a wall of heat and light. Inside the circle, there is law. Inside, there is family. Inside, there is the known. Outside the circle, beyond the reach of the flickering light, lies the chaos, the unknown, the cold, the domain of the beasts. The fire is the boundary between the two worlds. We explore the feeling of safety that radiates from the hearth. It is a primal relief. It is the feeling of the nervous system finally letting go. The eyes no longer need to scan the horizon. They only need to watch the flames. And what a show it is. The fire is the first television. It is the first cinema. Watch the flames dance. They are never the same for 2 seconds. They twist into shapes of dancers, of animals, of mountains. They turn from blue to gold to white to orange. It is hypnotic. The gaze of every member of the tribe is locked onto the center. The fire captures the attention and holds it, inducing a light trance. The mind drifts. The abstract thoughts of the day dissolve into the fluid movement of the light. And in this light, the people change. We explore the chemistry of the firelight. The harsh, revealing light of the noon sun shows every flaw, every wrinkle, every speck of dirt. But the firelight is forgiving. It is soft. It flickers. Look at the faces across the circle. The deep shadows cast by the brow render the eyes dark and mysterious. The cheekbones are highlighted in gold. The movement of the flames gives the illusion of movement to the faces. Everyone looks ancient. Everyone looks wise. The grandfather looks like a spirit. The child looks like an ancestor. The fire unifies them. It paints them all in the same palette of ochre and shadow. It reminds them that they are made of the same clay. And now, the smell of the evening rises. The hunt was successful. Strips of meat are roasting on green sticks over the coals. Or perhaps a flat stone has been heated in the ash to bake a cake of ground nuts and water. The aroma of roasting fat and seared herbs fills the small dome of the camp. It is the most comforting smell in history. It triggers a deep, biological satisfaction. The belly will be full. The body will be warm. The tribe will survive another night. They eat. They share. They pass the food from hand to hand. This is the communion of the energy. The energy of the sun went into the grass. The grass went into the deer. The deer goes into the human. The fire is the catalyst that makes it all possible. The breathing hearth meal is finished. The conversation dies down. The logs have burned through. The tall, dancing flames have lowered. The frantic energy of the initial burn has calmed. The fire is settling down. It is entering its final and most beautiful phase, the phase of the ember. The center of the hearth is now a bed of glowing coals. They are a deep, intense, pulsating red, the color of blood, the color of the sunset, the color of the heart. They do not flicker. They breathe. Watch them. When the wind blows softly, the coals brighten to a fierce orange. When the wind dies, they darken to a slumbering crimson. Pulse. It is the heartbeat of the camp. It is a living thing, warm and steady, keeping watch while the humans prepare for sleep. The tribe stares into this bed of coals. This is the time for memory. This is the time for dreams. In the glowing architecture of the embers, They see the faces of those who have gone. They see the landscapes of tomorrow. The heat radiates outward, a gentle, invisible wave that caresses the skin. The darkness presses in closer now. The circle has shrunk. The sacred barrier is smaller, more intimate. The red flower has folded its petals for the night, keeping its heat locked deep inside. We invite you now to sit by this fire. Feel the cold night air on your back, and the radiant warmth on your face. Smell the wood smoke and the pine. Look into the red heart of the coals. Let your eyes lose their focus. Let the glow fill your vision. There is nothing you need to do. The fire is burning for you. It is fighting back the dark for you. You are inside the circle. You are safe. The wild world is far away. The cold cannot touch you. You are held in the golden light of the human family. The fire whispers to you. It speaks in the language of heat and ash. I am here, it says. I will burn until the morning. Rest. The coals shift with a soft, musical tinkle like glass breaking gently. The light dims, just enough to let the stars appear above the trees. The cycle is complete. The ember glows. The heart beats. Sleep now, in the circle of the light. Sleep. The voice of the elders. The archive of the dark. The day is for the hands. The day is for the gripping of the spear, the scraping of the hide, the gathering of the root. The day is for the eyes, for scanning the horizon, for reading the dust, for watching the clouds. But the night is for the ear. The fire has settled into a bed of glowing, breathing coals. The sacred barrier of light has shrunk to a small, intimate circle. The darkness is pressed in from the forest, thick and heavy, swallowing the trees, swallowing the hills, swallowing the world. There is nothing left to see. The visual world has closed its shutters. Now, the archive begins to open. We shift our focus to the figure sitting closest to the warmth. It is the old one, the elder, the keeper of the lore. In a world without writing, in a time before ink and paper, the memory of the human species did not reside in books. It resided here. It resided in the gray matter, in the neural pathways, in the deep, winding valleys of a single human brain. This person is not just an elder. They are the library. They are the encyclopedia. They are the scripture. If they speak, the history lives. If they stay silent, the history dies. The tribe leans forward. The children curl up at the feet of the adults. The hunters rest their chins on their knees. A hush falls over the circle. It is a silence of expectation. It is the same silence that falls over a cathedral before the first note of the organ. The elder takes a breath. It is a long, rattling inhale, pulling in the smoke and the night air. And then, the sound comes. It is not the conversational voice used during the day to direct the hunt or scold a child. It is different. It is deeper. It is resonant. It is the voice of the myth. It begins low, a rumble in the chest that mimics the sound of the earth shifting. It is said, in the time before time, when the animals could speak, the words drift out into the cool air, carried on the smoke. They are not just sounds. They are keys. They unlock the gates of the mind. We watch the faces of the listeners. Their eyes lose focus on the fire. They are no longer looking at the coals. They are looking inward. They are stepping into the theater of the mind. The map of the spirit. We explore the rhythm of the telling. The elder does not speak in prose. He speaks in poetry. He speaks in cadence. Thump, thump, thump. There is a beat to the story. It mimics the heartbeat. It mimics the walking of the feet. This rhythm is a survival tool. It is a mnemonic device. The history must be remembered exactly. If a word is changed, the location of the waterhole might be lost. If a line is forgotten, the cure for the poison might be forgotten. So the story is locked into a rhythm, like a song. It is chanted. It is sung. It is drummed into the memory of the next generation. We explore the content of these tales. To the modern ear, they might sound like fairy tales. Stories of the trickster coyote who stole the fire. Stories of the great bear who walks in the sky. Stories of the woman who fell from the moon. But these are not fantasies. They are maps. They are survival manuals encoded in metaphor. The story of the monster in the river is not just a ghost story. It is a warning about the swift current that drowns the unwary. The story of the star hunter is not just a myth. It is a celestial navigation chart, teaching the tribe how to find north, how to mark the seasons, how to know when the winter is coming. The elder points a withered finger at the sky. "See there," he whispers. "See the 7 sisters? They are cold tonight. They are huddling together. The snow is near." The tribe looks up. They see the stars not as random points of light, but as characters in a great drama. The sky is a book they can read. We explore the theater of the smoke. As the elder speaks, the smoke from the fire twists and turns in the updraft. To the entranced eyes of the listeners, the smoke seems to take form. A sudden gust swirls the gray vapor into the shape of a wolf. The elder's voice growls. The children shiver, pulling their furs tighter. Another gust, and the smoke rises straight and tall, like a tree. The elder speaks of the world tree, the axis of the universe. This is the first cinema. The fire provides the light, the smoke provides the screen, and the voice provides the projector. It is a shared hallucination. For an hour, the tribe leaves the hard, cold ground of the Paleolithic and travels to the Dreamtime. They walk with the ancestors. They fly with the eagle. They swim with the whale. In this space, they are immortal. The elder tells of the great hunt of the past, of the famine that almost wiped them out, of the courage of the first mother. He is knitting the soul of the tribe together. He is telling them, "You are not alone. You come from a line of survivors. You have the blood of heroes in your veins." This is the transmission of identity. Without the story, they are just scattered individuals. With the story, they are a people. The echo in the Boneth night deepens. The fire burns low. The stack of wood has turned to white ash. The elder's voice grows softer. The cadence slows down. The climax of the tale has passed. The monster has been defeated. The fire has been stolen. The stars have been hung. Now comes the resolution. The voice drops to a whisper, barely louder than the wind in the pines. And so it remains to this day. And so we remember. The final words hang in the air for a moment, suspended in the silence. And then, they fade. The library closes. The silence that rushes back into the clearing is heavy. But it is not the empty silence of the void. It is a pregnant silence. It is a silence filled with echoes. The listeners sit still. They do not want to move. They do not want to break the spell. They feel a heavy, comforting weight settling in their chests. It is the weight of history. It is the ballast of belonging. They look at the elder. In the dying light, his face looks like a carved stone. He is tired. The effort of holding the world in his mind has exhausted him. He closes his eyes. He retreats back into himself. But the seed has been planted. In the mind of a child sitting in the shadows, the story has taken root. The rhythm has been caught. The map has been memorized. One day, that child will become the elder. One day, that child will sit by the fire and say, "It is said." The lineage is secure. The chain is unbroken. We invite you now to feel that echo in your own bones. You too, the result of a story. You are the latest chapter in a book that began thousands of years ago in a circle just like this. Listen to the silence of your own room. Can you hear the echo? Can you hear the whisper of the ancestors? They are telling you that you are strong. They are telling you that you know the way. The map is inside you. The fire is dying down now. The red eyes of the coals are closing one by one. The voice has stopped, but the story continues. It continues in your dreams. Let the rhythm of the chant lull you. Let the cadence of the memory carry you. You are safe in the circle of the story. Drift away now, into the legend, into the sleep. The watchers of the Milky Way ceiling of diamonds, the red coals of the hearth, have finally dimmed. The heartbeat of the fire has slowed to a faint, rhythmic pulse, buried deep beneath a blanket of gray ash. The circle of light that held the tribe together has collapsed. The sacred barrier has fallen. Now, the world opens up. The eyes of the tribe turn away from the earth. They turn away from the faces of their kin. They turn upward. They look into the abyss. It is difficult for us, the children of the electric age, to understand what they saw. We live under a sky that is bleached by the orange glow of our cities. We see a few dozen stars, struggling to shine through the haze of our own making. We see a pale imitation of the night, but the early ones. They lived in the true night. Imagine a darkness so pure, so absolute, that it feels like velvet against the eyes. And set against that darkness, a canopy of crushing brilliance. We visualize the sky of the Pleistocene. It is a ceiling of diamonds. There are not hundreds of stars. There are not thousands. There are millions. They are packed so densely that they seem to touch. A crowded congregation of cold, white fire staring down at the solitary planet. They are so bright that they cast shadows on the ground, faint, ghostly starlight shadows that move as the earth turns. The sheer weight of it is overwhelming. To look up is to be crushed by the infinite. And tearing through the center of this dome, stretching from the northern horizon to the southern mountains, is the river, the Milky Way. To the scientists of our time, it is a spiral arm of a galaxy, a collection of dust and gas. But to the watchers on the ridge, it was a physical structure. It was the river of souls. Whispers tell us that they believe this was the path the ancestors traveled after they died. When the body returned to the dust, the spark, the breath ascended. It joined the great, silent migration of light flowing across the zenith. Look at it. It is a torrent of silver mist. It swirls. It eddies. It has dark patches, the great rifts that look like islands in the stream or caves in the celestial cliff face. It is beautiful, yes, but it is also terrifying. It is a reminder of the scale of the universe. The tribe sits in the dark, huddled in their furs, small and fragile, while above them, the great white spine of the cosmos arches over their heads, indifferent, eternal, and silent. The navigation of the spirit, but the sky was not just a spectacle, it was a tool. This chapter explores the birth of the first astronomy. Long before there were telescopes, long before there were sextants, there were the eyes of the watchers. They noticed that the river in the sky moved. They noticed that the diamonds shifted their positions. Night after night, season after season. The sky was a clock. The elder points a withered hand toward the eastern horizon. Watch, he whispers. The seven sisters are rising. The Pleiades, a tight cluster of blue-white stars, shivering in the cold air. To the tribe, these are not balls of burning gas. They are the heralds of the winter. When the seven sisters climb high in the sky, the snow is coming. The herds will move south. The time for gathering is over. The time for endurance has begun. They turn their eyes to the south. They see the hunter Orion striding across the meridian, his belt of 3 bright stars gleaming like polished studs. He is the guardian of the night. He chases the bull across the heavens. To the early human, the sky was not empty space. It was a crowded room. It was a ceiling painted with deities and animals. Every cluster of stars was a face. Every nebula was a breath. The bear was there, circling the pole star. The swan was there, flying down the river of the Milky Way. The scorpion was there, hiding in the southern horizon. They were never alone. We explore the feeling of being watched. In our world, we feel observed by cameras, by screens, by the judgment of others. But they felt observed by the 1,000 eyes of the night. It was a feeling of cosmic accountability. You could not hide your deeds in the dark, because the dark was made of eyes. The ancestors were watching from the river of souls. The Great Spirit was watching from the void between the stars. This created a sense of vertical connection. The human was not just a horizontal creature, walking the flat earth. The human was a vertical creature, rooted in the soil, but crowned by the stars. We touch upon the vertigo. Imagine lying on your back on the hard, cold ground of the savannah. You stare up into the zenith, into the deepest part of the dark. If you stare long enough, a strange sensation takes hold. The gravity seems to reverse. You no longer feel like you are lying on the ground looking up. You feel like you are clinging to the underside of a rock, looking down into a bottomless well. You realize that you are on a floating rock. You realize that there is no up. There is only out. The earth feels fragile. It is a tiny raft drifting in an ocean of silver fire. This is the primal vertigo. It is the realization of our precarious place in the universe. It brings a tightness to the chest, a dryness to the throat. It makes the tribe huddle closer together. The fire is gone. The walls are gone. There is only the warmth of the kin and the cold, unblinking stare of the infinity above. The scratch of light, the night deepens. The silence of the universe becomes so heavy that it rings in the ears. It is a high, thin frequency, the sound of the stars burning. The wind has died. The animals are silent. The world is holding its breath. And then, a signal. Flash. A scratch of light tears across the dark. It is sudden. It is silent. It is brilliant. A shooting star. It starts near the shoulder of the hunter and streaks across the sky, leaving a glowing trail of green and white that lingers for a heartbeat before dissolving back into the black. To us, it is a piece of rock burning up in the atmosphere. It is friction. It is physics. But to the watchers, it is a message. A gasp goes around the circle. Did you see? It is a sign. Perhaps it is a soul descending to be born. Perhaps it is a soul ascending to the river. Perhaps it is the gods drawing a line in the sand. We interpret the meteor not as a rock, but as a secret signal from the deep time. It is a communication from the void. It reminds them that the sky is alive. It is not a static painting. It is dynamic. It moves. It speaks. It bleeds light. The elder nods slowly. He interprets the sign. The sky is awake, he says. We are remembered. The fear of the void recedes, replaced by a sense of wonder. The shooting star has stitched the earth and the sky together for a brief second. The tribe begins to settle for sleep. They pull their furs over their heads, blocking out the brilliance of the diamonds. But the image of the star-filled sky remains burned onto their retinas. They close their eyes, but they can still see the river of souls flowing behind their eyelids. They drift towards sleep with the knowledge that they are traveling through the cosmos. They are passengers on the Earthship, and the watchers, the stars, the ancestors, the deities are guiding them through the night. We invite you now to lie back. Turn off the lights. Let the artificial world fade away. Imagine the ceiling above you has dissolved. Imagine the roof is gone. There is nothing between you and the infinite. See the river of souls flowing silently above you, a stream of silver light. See the thousand eyes watching over you, blinking with a slow, protective rhythm. You are not just in a room. You are in the universe. You are small, but you are part of the light. Wait for the signal. Wait for the scratch of light across the dark. It is a message for you. You are here. You are safe. You are part of the river. Sleep now, beneath the diamonds, beneath the silence. Sleep. The painted spirit, the throat of the mountain. The fire has died. The story has ended. The stars have wheeled across the sky. But for one member of the tribe, the journey is not over. It is just beginning. We leave the camp now. We leave the safety of the open air and the comfort of the firelight. We walk away from the sleeping circle, stepping softly on the frosted grass, moving toward the base of the great limestone cliff that looms above the valley like a frozen wave. We are looking for an opening. It is a small, dark mouth in the rock, hidden behind a curtain of ivy and old briar. To the uninitiated, it looks like nothing, a shadow, a crack, a place where the wind goes to die. But the initiated know better. This is the throat of the mountain. This is the entrance to the underworld. We step inside. Immediately, the world changes. The air drops in temperature. It becomes cool, damp, and still. The smell of the pine forest and the wood smoke vanishes, replaced by a scent that is millions of years old, the scent of wet stone, of dissolved minerals, of the deep, crushing weight of the earth. We are entering the womb. The artist, the shaman, the dreamer moves forward. He carries a simple torch, a hollow bone filled with animal fat, and a twist of moss. He strikes a spark. The torch flares to life. A sphere of warm, yellow light pushes back the crushing darkness, but only just. The shadows dance wildly on the walls, stretching and shrinking with every breath of air. We follow him down. The path is not easy. This is not a gallery built for casual eyes. It is a gauntlet. He must crawl on his belly through tunnels so tight they scrape the skin. He must squeeze through fissures where the rock presses against his chest like a vice. He must wade through subterranean rivers, the water black and freezing, rising to his waist. Why? Why go so deep? Why travel a mile into the dark to paint an image that no one will ever see? Because the magic requires the difficulty. Because the spirit does not live in the light of the sun. It lives in the heart of the stone. The silence here is absolute. It is a sensory deprivation tank. There is no wind. There is no birdsong. There is only the sound of water dripping from the stalactites. It is the ticking of a geological clock. The artist moves deeper, guided by the echo of his own breath. He is returning to the source. He is returning to the dark quiet where life began. The alchemy of ochre and shadow. He reaches the chamber. It is a vast, cathedral-like hall deep inside the cave. The ceiling is lost in the gloom. The floor is slick with calcite. The walls are curtains of flowing limestone, white and yellow and red. The shaman stops. He holds his torch high. The light flickers against the uneven surface of the wall, and in that flickering, something happens. The rock begins to move. He sees them. He sees the animals waiting inside the stone. A bulge in the rock wall looks like the hump of a bison. A crack in the limestone looks like the antler of a stag. A curve in the ceiling looks like the spine of a horse. They are already there. They have been trapped in the stone since the beginning of time. The artist is not here to create them. He is here to release them. He sets down his torch. He unpacks his tools. He lays out the ingredients of his alchemy. There are stones of red ochre, the color of blood and life. There are stones of yellow limonite, the color of the sun and fat. There are sticks of charcoal, the color of the night and the burn. He takes a grinding stone. The sound echoes in the chamber. He crushes the stone into a fine powder. He mixes it with cave water, or perhaps with the fat of a bear, or the white of an egg. He creates a paste. It is thick. It is rich. It smells of the earth. He dips his fingers into the paint. He steps toward the wall. He touches the stone. The moment his finger makes contact, the circuit is closed. The energy flows from the man into the mountain. He traces the line of the bison's back. He follows the curve of the horse's neck. He fills in the heavy flank of the mammoth. He works with the frenzy of focus. He is not painting a picture. He is singing a song with his hands. I see you, brother bison. I call you, sister deer. He uses the charcoal to draw the eye. He gives the animal sight, and in the flickering torchlight, the painting comes alive. The shadows cast by the uneven rock make the animals appear to breathe. They seem to be running across the wall, fleeing from the light, migrating into the deep darkness of the cave. This is sympathetic magic. The shaman believes that by capturing the image of the animal in the womb of the earth, he is summoning the spirit of the animal to the world above. He is calling the herds. He is ensuring the survival of the tribe. He is weaving a spell of abundance. The cave is filled with the smell of the burning fat and the wet paint. It is a holy place. It is a place of transformation. Here, the dark, the human mind is wrestling with the infinite. He is trying to bridge the gap between the mortal and the eternal. He paints a spear flying toward the stag. He paints a dot for a star. He paints a line for the ground. He is writing the first story. The breath of the ghost. The work is almost done. The animals are running. The wall is alive. But there is one final mark to be made. The signature. The artist wipes his hands. He takes a hollow reed, a bird bone that has been cleaned and dried. He takes a mouthful of the red ochre paint. He holds it in his cheek, tasting the iron, tasting the earth. He places his left hand against the wall. He spreads his fingers wide. He presses his palm flat against the cold, damp limestone. He holds the bone tube to his lips. He aims it at his hand. He blows. A fine mist of red pigment sprays out. It covers his hand. It covers the rock around his fingers. He waits a moment. The paint settles. Then slowly, he peels his hand away. And there it is. The negative handprint. A ghostly white hand, surrounded by a halo of red dust. It is a shout in the silence. I was here. I breathed. I touched this world. It is the most haunting symbol in all of human history. It is a wave from the deep past. The hand of the artist is gone. His bones have turned to dust. His name has been lost to the wind. The tribe he painted for has vanished, but the handprint remains. It floats there on the wall, defying time. It waits in the dark for 10,000 years. It waits for 20,000 years. It waits for us. The shaman gathers his tools. His torch is burning low. The fat is almost gone. The light is fading. He bows to the spirits he has released. He bows to the womb of the mother. He turns and begins the long crawl back to the surface. He leaves the painted spirit in the dark. He leaves the bison running in the eternal night. He climbs back up the throat of the mountain, squeezing through the fissures, pulling himself up toward the smell of the pine and the fresh air. He emerges into the night. The stars are still shining. The camp is still sleeping. But he is different. He carries the secret of the cave in his heart. He looks at his hand, the hand that touched the stone. It is stained with red. He is the bridge between the worlds. We invite you now to enter that cave in your mind. Let the darkness wrap around you like a heavy blanket. Let the silence of the stone settle into your ears. Feel the cool, damp air. Smell the ochre. Visualize the handprint on the wall. It is your hand. You are part of this lineage. You are the echo of that first breath. The paint is dry. The seal is set. The spirit is safe in the stone. The light goes out. The torch is extinguished. The darkness returns, protective and deep. Drift into it. Drift into the womb of the earth. Sleep now. You are marked by the moon. You are held by the stone. Sleep. The sanctuary of dream, the fortress of flesh, the fire has breathed its last. The red coals, which pulls like a living heart for so long, have finally surrendered to the gray dominion of the ash. The smoke has thinned to a wisp, drifting straight up into the crushing silence of the canopy. The night is old. The time for the hands is over. The time for the voice is over. The time for the story is done. Now, the heavy curtain of the great rest descends upon the camp. It is a slow biological command. It starts in the marrow of the bones. It weighs down the eyelids. It slackens the muscles of the neck. Gravity, which has been fought all day by the upright spine, now wins its gentle victory. The tribe begins to settle. They do not retire to separate rooms. They do not seek the isolation of the private dark. In the morning of the world, solitude was a danger. Solitude was the cold. They moved toward the sanctuary. It might be a depression in the earth, lined with dry sedge and sweet grass. It might be the back of a limestone cave, where the air is still and thick. They engage in the oldest architectural project of humanity, the construction of the huddle. We visualize it forming in the shadows. One by one, they lie down, but they do not lie alone. They pile together. It is a living knot of humanity, a tangle of limbs, backs, and shoulders. A father curls around a son. A sister presses her back against a brother. The elders are placed in the center, the warmest part of the core. The hunters lie on the periphery, their faces turned outward toward the dark. They pull the heavy blankets over them, the shaggy pelts of the cave bear, the thick, coarse fur of the bison, the soft skins of the wolf. The smell is intense and earthy. It is the scent of wood smoke trapped in hair. It is the scent of lanolin and cured leather. It is the scent of the pack. To the modern mind, this proximity might feel crowded. But to the ancient one, this was the definition of safety. To feel the weight of another body against yours was to know that you were not alone in the void. To hear the breath of your kin was the lullaby that kept the terror of the night at bay. They become a single organism, a fortress of flesh. The heat rises from the pile, creating a microclimate of warmth in the freezing Pleistocene night. The collective body temperature defies the ice. They settle. A shift of a leg here, a murmur there, a sigh of finality, and then the stillness takes them. The watchman in the tower, as the breathing of the group synchronizes a slow, oceanic rhythm of inhale and exhale, we explore the mystery of the Paleolithic sleep. It was not the deep, comatose blackout that we seek today with our heavy curtains and white noise machines. It was a vigilant sleep. Even as the body surrendered to gravity, a part of the brain remained awake. We call it the watchman. It is a sentinel located deep in the primitive brainstem. It sits in the tower, listening. It filters out the safe sounds, the rhythmic breathing of the tribe, the wind in the pines, the flow of the river. These are the sounds of the cradle, but it waits for the anomaly, the snap of a dry twig, the sudden silence of the crickets, the huff of a predator. If the watchman hears this, it fires an electrical jolt through the nervous system. The sleeper wakes instantly, hand reaching for the spear before the eyes are even open. This is why, perhaps, you sometimes wake in the middle of the night for no reason. It is the echo of the watchman, doing his rounds, checking the perimeter of a cave that is no longer there. But tonight, the perimeter is quiet. The watcher signals, all is well. And so, the tribe descends deeper. They cross the threshold. They slip from the waking world, which is hard and cold, into the dreaming, which is fluid and vast. What did they dream? Whispers tell us that the boundaries of reality were thinner then. The dream world was not seen as a hallucination. It was seen as a second location. It was the other side. Did they dream of the hunt? Perhaps the sleeper's legs twitched beneath the furs, running across the ghostly savannas of the mind, chasing the great stag that never tires. Did they dream of flight? We know that shamans spoke of traveling as birds. Perhaps in the sanctuary of the dream, the heavy, earthbound human cast off the weight of the bones and soared above the glaciers, looking down at the small blue fires of the camps below. Did they dream of us? In the deep, non-linear time of the dream state, did they catch glimpses of the future? Did they see the glass cities? Did they hear the roar of the engines? Did they wonder at the strange, lonely descendants who would one day conquer the earth, but forget the warmth of the huddle? Or did they simply dream of the ancestors? It is said that the dead walked freely in the dreams of the living. They came to give advice. They came to show where the water was hidden. They came to comfort the grieving. In the dream, the tribe was reunited. The living and the dead sat together by a fire that never consumed its wood, speaking a language that needed no words. The sleeper smiles in the dark. A memory fades. A vision rises. The mind wanders through the library of the night, unburdened by the laws of physics, unburdened by the struggle for survival. Here, in the sanctuary, they are free. The pause of the experiment, the night reaches its midpoint. The deep dark. The moon has moved across the sky, marking the hours with its silent, silver hand. The camp is absolutely still now. The mound of furs looks like a sleeping hill. The individual shapes of the humans have disappeared. There is only the heap, rising and falling, rising and falling. It is a scene of profound vulnerability. These are the apex predators of the planet. They have mastered the fire. They have conquered the stone. They have hunted the mammoth. But now, they are soft. They are unconscious. They are open to the world. And yet, they are safe. They are protected by the invisible shield of their unity. They are protected by the reputation of their fire. They are protected by the vast, empty silence of the wilderness. We pull back now. We float upward, leaving the interior of the shelter. We pass through the smoke hole, drifting out into the cool, crisp air. We rise above the trees. We rise above the ridge where the watcher sat. We look down at the camp. It is just a tiny speck of warmth in a vast ocean of blue shadows. It is a fragile candle flickering in the void. The human experiment has paused. The tools are laid down. The arguments are silenced. The hunger is forgotten. For these few hours, there is no progress. There is no conquest. There is only rest. The earth continues to turn. The constellations will overhead the Great Bear, the hunter, the seven sisters. They look down with their cold, diamond eyes at the sleeping children of the earth. They keep their vigil. The cycle is holding. The breath is flowing. The darkness is not an enemy. It is a blanket. It is the velvet wrapping that allows the soul to recover. We invite you now to join the huddle. You do not need the furs of the bison. You do not need the cave. Pull your own covers up to your chin. Feel the weight of the warmth. Imagine that you are part of that living knot. You are surrounded by kin. You are guarded by the watchman. There is nothing you need to do. The tribe is sleeping. The world is quiet. You can let go. You can drift into the sanctuary. The stars are watching. The dawn is hours away. The cycle waits for you. Sleep now. Beneath the silence. Beneath the fur. Sleep.